Hi, everybody, and welcome back to College Planning Tip of the Week. I'm Nancy Steenson with Steenson College Coaching, and with me today, as always, is my colleague, Jack Wang. So, Jack, I'd like to know more about comparing financial aid packages and going back to the college you think you really want to attend and saying, look, I've got a better offer from another school. Can you match it? How how should parents handle this, and how should students handle this? And should they be doing that?
Great question, Nancy. I get this a lot. It's very exciting when parents and students get those acceptance letters in the mail, as you know, and get the financial aid offers, and get even better is when there's a nice, big, fat, juicy scholarship attached, right? But a couple of pitfalls you just want to watch out for, parents. Oftentimes, parents will look at the dollar amount of the scholarship and will want to compare or use one school against the other, and that's not really the way to do it. I mean, yes, it matters, but you want to look at the bottom line price, because what happens is some schools have a really high sticker price, so they give a much bigger scholarship than another school that perhaps has a much lower sticker price, but they give a much smaller dollar amount scholarship. Where parents and students get lost is they compare the dollar amount of the scholarship, and they'll end up wanting to use, let's say, the bigger dollar scholarship and use that to negotiate against the smaller dollar scholarship, right? So quite often parents will say, I'll give you an example, like a basic example, like a school that's $70,000 a year that gives a $20,000 scholarship versus a school that's $30,000 a year but gives, let's say, a $5,000 scholarship, right? And so parents will say, well, the second school only gave my kid $5,000. Okay, yes, that's true, but look at where you started, right? The first school, 70,000 minus 20 is 50,000. The second school's 30,000 minus 5 is 25,000, right? So parents often will say, well, what if I use, the first school's letter and use that to negotiate against the second school to try and get the second school to give more money? Well, my reaction to that is, how fast would you like that financial aid officer to delete your request, right? Or to put your request into this proverbial paper shredder, right? Because if you did that, they're going to, you know, they're basically going to laugh at you nicely. Well, behind the scenes, they're going to laugh at you and say, this is ridiculous because we're already, what, $25,000 cheaper in that example, right? Why are you asking? That's not the number to look at. You want to look at the bottom line price, right? And I want to emphasize that, can you ask a school for more money if you have legitimate circumstances, or even if you just want to ask them more money? So yes, you can always do that. Be prepared for them to say no, but you can always ask. But if you're going to employ the strategy of comparing one school against another, there are many, many factors you want to consider, not the least of which is you want to look at the bottom line price. You want to be careful to make sure that you're not comparing a situation where you're using a much more expensive school, even bottom line, to try and get a less expensive school to give you more money, because they're going to say no. The response will be, we're already less expensive, period. Okay. And that will be a quick end to your request. So just keep that in mind. I know it's easy to fall in that trap, 20,000 versus 5,000 in that example, but look at the bottom line price.
Great. Thank you, Jack. That's super advice. Really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for listening today, and we hope you join us next week for our college planning tip of the week.